Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is George Kingori. I'm your online finance guy who speaks about all things finance. How you can be able to save, how you can be able to invest, and how you can be able to grow in your financial affairs. I post here every other day, and so subscribe to the channel so that you can be able to get this and much more videos coming straight to you. And today I'm going to speak about 11 reasons why you should not get a car. So why should you not get a car? So the first reason why you should not get a car is it's a depreciating asset. Yes, a car is a depreciating asset. No sooner have you acquired it, has it lost value. It actually loses more than 15% of the value if you were to buy a brand new car with zero mileage. As soon as you drive it for the first kilometer, it has lost 15% of its value. So, and that is not limited to just new cars. Even when you buy, every subsequent mileage that goes on the odometer and every other year that it passes, this car depreciates in value. So a car loses value faster than you can actually imagine. Every time a car, even without driving a car, as long as it is seated, it is deflating its tires, it is breaking certain components, it is misusing its or using its oil, or the oil that is in the car is breaking down, and it is eating money every single time, whether you are driving it or not. Every time you have to pay insurance and all these things. So it is a depreciating asset, and further to that, the actual car loses value even without driving it. So it is a depreciating asset. The second reason is it is expensive to hold. Just as I had indicated, you have to pay fuel for it, you have to service the car, you have to pay insurance for the car, you have to pay certain taxes if you live in certain regions, and all these costs accrue to every car buyer, and it can add up to an expensive amount. If you have to pay at least 4% for third-party insurance, if you have to pay at least $100 every month for fuel, if you have to pay at least $200 every single year for service and maintenance, it becomes expensive and it actually adds up. The other reason is interest charges on loans that are offered on cars. So if you are given that car to use it and pay slowly by slowly, the interest charges accruing on that car are much higher than if you were to buy, say, land. So because the people who offer you these loans understand that a car is a depreciating asset, it is even a risky asset to be able to give someone, because it would get into an accident, it could fail mechanically, it could have all these issues that are ascertained to the risks. And because of the risks that are attached to such financing, the rates of interest are actually high. So you pay much more interest for cars and acquiring cars on loan. So that is one other reason. The other thing is fuel is increasingly becoming expensive. Just look at the fuel charges that you pay. More taxes are being added to the fuel that you are getting. Remember, even the oil producing countries are actually a cartel. OPEC is actually a cartel. They they control the oil in the market so that the value goes up, and so that the members can be able to receive much more money for their oil. So oil is expensive. Even in a country like Nigeria, I would shock you that even oil, where it is coming from, and remember, Nigeria has one of the purest forms of crude oil. In fact, people can be able to purify this oil with rudimentary methods, but the cost of fuel is actually higher in that country than in other neighboring countries. So these are the things that we are speaking about. The cost of fuel is increasingly going up. Then the other thing is Crook mechanics. If you have not met Crook mechanics, maybe you have, but you do not know. They are the people who, while they are making something small, either spoil something else, or they make a fictitious claim of something that is about to fail, or they tell you that your tires are going bad, or all these issues. If you live in a country where you have to do annual or biannual roadworthiness tests before you are given a permit to be able to continue driving that car, they bring these charges to you at that specific time. Wherever you are, whether in Europe, in Africa, in everywhere, Crook's mechanics are everywhere. In fact, creative accountants are part of these games and they are going to charge you and add charges to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not met them, maybe you have been conned and you do not know, but the car maintenance market is filled with very dishonest individuals. So that is another reason why you should actually consider not having a car. The other reason is a car becomes technically obsolete. Each and every time it is a technical good, it involves a lot of technology and all these other things, and the older the car, the more it becomes obsolete. Think about it. Even engines of the same size, the same car, over a generation of years, the fuel efficiency of the newer brands is even higher. The noise levels of the newer cars is even higher. Even the interfaces of the dashboards are increasingly better over time. So the older you have a car, the more it becomes technically obsolete. As newer models that are more creative, that are more spacious, that are more fuel efficient, that are less noisy come up, the older model that you have becomes obsolete. So having a car is having an asset that will become technically obsolete. Ladies and gentlemen, think about these things. The other thing is, when you get a car, you attract the wrong attention. So every time you acquire a car, especially a fancy car, you attract the wrong kind of information. You create a perception that you are rich, that you are making it, whether you took it on loan or you were given as a gift by someone. Every time you have a car and hold a car, certain perceptions of people come. You start attracting the wrong kind of attention, and people who might want to take advantage of you, thinking that you are actually rich and you have more money. So the wrong attention. You could even attract thieves if you live somewhere that you could be robbed. So these are the kind of attention that you might not want. The other problem is being trapped in the pursuit to be greater than the Joneses. Every time you enter or do something and your neighbor does even better, and this is specifically for people who live in the suburbs, who live in the same kind of housing and want to show that they are actually better. So every time you buy a car and your neighbor buys a better car, you might fall into the trap of wanting to show them that you are doing better than them. It is called keeping up with the Joneses. Even young couples, they have that pressure. Every time people tell them, oh, do a big wedding. Oh, once they do the big wedding, they talk, oh, live in a fancy neighborhood. Oh, live in this. Do much more of this. Buy an even better house. Buy an even car. Take your children to better private schools. Keeping up with the Joneses is the quickest ticket to poverty. And the first step is usually in getting a car. So ensure that you do not get a car and get trapped in the pursuit of being better than your neighbor or your friends. So keeping up with the Joneses can actually come with car ownership. The other thing is, cars are actually set up to benefit others and not actually. Think about it. The only benefit that accrues to you is to be able to travel with a little bit more privacy and with at your own pace, and without the limitations of whether there are buses, whether there are trains, whether there are connections, whether there are any issues, and being able to travel even at night. The convenience, that is what you benefit from. But there are thousands of other people along the chain who actually benefit you from you owning a car. The first one is the government. Do you know car owners are the most taxed individuals in anywhere around the world? They pay the most tax in terms of VAT. They pay the most tax in terms of excise duty if they were to import the car. They pay the most tax in terms of duties and levies on fuel that they are actually using. They are taxed even to be able to park their cars, which does not happen to other individuals. So having this car actually is set up to benefit others more than actually benefits you. It's set up to benefit the car sellers. It's set up to benefit the insurance companies much more than your little convenience that you are looking to acquire. So think about it. The benefit is actually more to others than to you. The other thing that is many actually change cars because of being bored. Having a car, if you're the kind of people who are excited about new things and you think about getting a new car, you might actually be tempted to even get another car so that you can be able to have a certain excitement around acquiring new things. So if your new acquiring thing or your target thing is a car, you will end up spending more money because you are trapped into the pursuit of new things. And remember, new cars with newer technology and newer things come into the market more than you can imagine. So it is a problem to you every time you need to get a car because you are bored with the previous car and you feel the need to acquire a new car. The other thing is, people assume that a car is a need. It is not a need. Actually, thousands of people survive without a car, but people assume that it is a need. It is not a need, and because of the thought and the people who speak about these things as a need, it traps people into thinking that it is a need. But every time you classify something from a want to a need, you increasingly justify having to spend more on this item as opposed to other items. And by doing this, you find yourself committing even more funds that could go to investment, but are entering into having to invest in this car because you have classified it as a need as regards to a want. The other thing that is rather obvious to you is every time you take this chunk of money and invest in a car that is even depreciating, that is incurring more charges, you have lost the opportunity to invest this money in interest bearing or income generating investments. So you deny yourself the opportunity to do so, and you might actually put more years to the journey of your financial independence. So you might actually have to spend more time working hard and improving your lives and the welfare to be able to get to financial independence simply because of this decision of acquiring a car. So I hope that you are learning. You are thinking beyond just what the Joneses and the people around you are saying, and you can be able to make critical decisions that could be helpful to your future. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment down below, and to like this video so that this message can be able to get to more and more people. Thank you and enjoy your day.